Hola amigos, bienvenidos. Hey guys, welcome back to another great Spanish lesson right here on the Language Tutor. You know, last time we were together, I told you that we were bringing in some new tenses, and today I got another one for you. This is a good one too because it doesn't really exist the way we think it does in English. It's not really the same in Spanish. So anyway, I know I'm probably confusing you, but this is the future tense, and it's called el futuro in Spanish. And what I was talking about a second ago was we're gonna use the word will in English in Spanish, but it doesn't exist. You know, the word will is not something we can just translate. And so we have to kind of manipulate verbs to mean the same thing. You know, it reminds me of years ago when a guy had written his own songs and made his own album. And he said, I want you to translate one of my songs into Spanish because I'm going to Cuba. And I said, okay, cool. So I looked at the list of songs, and one of the songs was I Know You Will. And I was thinking to myself, you know, I hope he picks any song on the album except that one. And of course, which one did he pick? That one, I Know You Will. So it was one of those things where I had to explain to him, you know, this doesn't exist in Spanish. We have to do something different. So we're going to have to rethink your whole song in order to translate it. So we're going to try to figure out the future tense today, and it is not difficult. Here are some examples of the future tense in English. I will go tomorrow. Okay, something we're going to do in the future. She will talk to her boyfriend tonight. All right, we will live in Paris. Maybe someday, right? So those are examples of the future tense. Now, just a quick note, we can say what we're going to do in the future by using ir plus a plus infinitive, right? We did learn that. So you can still use ir plus a plus infinitive, but this is actually saying what you will do, all right? You don't have to use a formula like that. We're just going to change the verb. All right, so how do we do the future tense? First of all, we're not going to say will. We've already established that. We're going to take the verb and we're going to put a set of endings on it. I want to point something out really quick. You know, all along in our adventure together learning Spanish, we've always, when we learned the present tense and the preterite tense, we've always taken the verb and we take the AR off or the ER off or the IR and we put an ending on it. Well, here's the thing. For the future tense, we're gonna do something we've never done before. We're gonna leave that verb exactly like it is. So we're gonna leave that AR on it, we're gonna leave that IR, and we're gonna leave that ER on it. We're just gonna leave it there. And what we're gonna do, instead of taking that off and putting an ending in its place, we're gonna leave it there and put an ending after it, okay? So you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So first of all, leave the AR, ER, and IR. Now let's go ahead and put our chart up and let's just look at the endings that we're going to use. Now this chart is going to kind of mix ARs and ER endings together. And we are going to have some accents on this. Go ahead and put it in your mind that all of these have accents except the nosotros form, okay? So let's just go ahead and go through the endings. Up there at the top left for the yo form, we're actually going to use the same ending that we did in preterite. When we learned the past tense in AR, we're going to use E with an accent. Okay, and then in the middle, we're going to use as, which A with an accent and an S, okay? Then at the bottom left, we're going to use this, which is the A with an accent, okay? Up at the top right, again, this is the one that doesn't have an ending on it. We're going to use hemos, the present tense ER ending. And then for the vosotros form, we're going to put ace, E-I-S with an accent on the E. And then for the bottom right, we're going to put an, A-N with an accent. So you can see really the endings do borrow from other tenses, so they are similar. Okay, but again, we're just going to put it at the end of the infinitive unchanged verb. All right. Now, I want to use a verb just to show you what this looks like in Spanish, okay? Let's use the verb viajar, to travel. So the verb viajar it means to travel. So what we're gonna be saying is I will travel, you will travel, we will travel, they will travel, etc. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll put viajar in the yo box up there in the top left, unchanged. AR is still there. Now let's just stick that ending on there, the E with the accent. So now we have viajaré, viajaré. Okay, now you can probably do the rest on your own, but let's put them up there just in case. So for the dual form, we're going to put viajar, and we're going to put as on there. So viajarás, viajarás. Bottom left, we're going to put the A with the accent, viajará. So él, ella, usted viajará. Over for the nosotros form, viajaremos, viajaremos. And for the vosotros form, viajaréis, viajaréis. And then at the bottom right, viajarán, viajarán. Okay, and that's how we do all ERs, AR, and IR verbs in Spanish when we want to do the future tense. Let's look at this in context for a minute. We'll take our chart off the screen and let's look at it in context. So those sentences I did a while ago with you. I will go tomorrow. We actually take the verb ir and put the ending on it. Yo iré mañana. Yo iré mañana. She will talk to her boyfriend tonight. Hope it's nothing serious, all right? Ella hablará con su novio esta noche. Ella hablará con su novio esta noche. And that other sentence we talked about, maybe you're dreaming about this one someday. We will live in Paris. We will live in Paris. Viviremos en París. Viviremos en París. All right, now, I want to give you some other conditions under which we can use the future tense, because not only can we say will do something, there's some other conditions that we can use it for. So one of these could be when we're making predictions about the future, okay? So here's an example. I will find a nice house one day. I will find a nice house one day. Now, we don't know that to be 100% true, but we hope it's true. But we can use the future tense about even making predictions. Even if it's not set, we will do this. So I will find a nice house one day. Encontraré una bonita casa algún día. Encontraré una bonita casa algún día. Now, we can also use this to speculate about a current situation. So here's an example. John is probably at work now. Now, that's not the future tense, but we're wondering, and if we go to find, I wonder what we will find. We will find that John is at work now. He's probably at work. So we're speculating about a situation currently. So we can do that. Juan estará en el trabajo ahora. Juan estará en el trabajo ahora. So we can speculate about current situations. Now, I can also say this when I'm wondering about a situation. It's kind of the same thing. Speculating and wondering is kind of the same. But if I say, I wonder how old she is. I wonder how old she is. I can use that verb, whatever verb it is, and in this case it would be tener, because that's what we use for age. So I would say, ¿Cuántos años tendrá ella? ¿Cuántos años tendrá ella? How many years will she have? You know, if we go looking, what will we find? It's sort of the mindset there. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk to you about in this episode are those troublemakers. We know they're troublemakers. I'm always talking about the troublemaker verbs, right? Well, there are troublemakers in the future tense, okay? I'm going to give you a handful of verbs that have irregular stems, okay? Now, basically, you're not just going to take this verb and just put an ending on it. You're going to have to modify the stem a little bit, okay? So let's put some of those up. One of those is the verb caber, caber. Now, for the verb caber, you're going to change it to C-A-B-R and then put the ending on there. So yo cabré, yo cabré. That would be the stem for that one. Okay, another one would be the verb poner, poner. We would also put a D in this one. So P-O-N-D-R-E. So yo pondré, I will put something. By the way, just want to point out, all of these on the chart, I'm not putting the whole chart up here right now for these verbs, but they would all be the same. That stem would be the same on the whole chart. So pondré, pondrás, pondrá, etc. Okay? So just wanted to point that out. Now for the verb decir, we're going to use this, D-I-R, and we're going to say, for example, I will tell or I will say, yo diré, yo diré. All right? Now, helping verb haber, it means have or had, and we use this in other tenses, okay? And we haven't covered this yet, but promise you it's coming soon. Okay, so the verb haber in the future would be H-A-B-R as well. Yo habré, yo habré. So just sort of put that in the back shelf of your mind for now. Just know that it's an irregular future stem. The next one is salir, which obviously to leave and go out. So yo saldré. Again, it's got the DR. Yo saldré, tú saldrás. Now, hacer, to do or to make, is H-A-R-E. Yo haré, okay? Poder, to be able to. Yo podré. Tener is another one. Yo tendré. That's one we used a while ago in the example, and you might have been looking at that example. How old? I wonder how old she would be. You might have been saying, hey, why does that have a D in it? Well, now you know, because it's got an irregular stem. Okay, so yo tendré. Also, querer is another one. We're going to use Q-U-E-R-R and then the ending. So yo querré. The next one is valer. Valer. That one is V-A-L-D-R. Valdré. Yo valdré. And to know, saber, is an irregular stem. You're probably guessing already because a lot of these are following the same patterns. S-A-B-R. Yo sabré. Yo sabré. And then one more is venir, is also going to use V-E-N-D-R. So yo vendré. And that's all I'm going to give you in this episode. I've given you a lot, right, guys? So basically, start by getting the endings down for the future tense. Then you might want to start getting that list of verbs down in your head that have irregular stems. The most important thing is practicing conversation, because those irregulars, even if you don't memorize the whole list, you can still recognize that it changes and what it should sound like in Spanish, because the more you practice, the more it just sounds right to you, okay? Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on this episode today. I hope this has been a really beneficial episode for you. Got another tense coming for you on the next episode. I'll see you soon on the next episode of Language Tutor. Hasta pronto. Friends, thanks for watching the Language Tutor. If you have a question for me, feel free to leave it in the comment section below the video. And please click subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll never miss any of our language lessons.